Hey y'all, this is Jay Tony again with some more thoughts. Um, been hearing a lot about folks talking about virtue signaling as a thing. Um, Virtue signaling is a term that was made up by people who don't want you to do good things. Simple as that. They want you to feel ashamed when you do something good. Um, if you don't know, virtue signaling is when someone does something or says something simply to sort of raise a signal, raise a flag, whatever, to show how virtuous they are. Um, that the sole purpose of doing it is for them to feel more virtuous by saying it, as opposed to doing it for the quote unquote right thing and doing it appropriately in that way. Um, I do want to mention that these comments are mostly for my white friends in this particular time when we're trying to deal with Black Lives Matter and trying to deal with restructuring our society in a way that is more equitable to everybody. These comments are more for the white friends. I don't know that they really apply to my black friends and friends of color. Uh, it just I don't know that it applies. If it does apply and it's helpful for you, I hope it is helpful. Um, so the right mostly doesn't want you to do what you consider good. They want you to stop. They don't want you to protest. They don't want you to call out people for saying things that are racist or sexist or otherwise inappropriate. Um, they don't want you to call out the fact that you've donated to something. This was a hard one for me, actually. I usually, when I donate something, I do it anonymously as possible. I ask that my name not be mentioned. I don't post a thing to my Facebook or anything about it. Usually because I don't want to virtue signal. And that's a problem. The reason that's a problem is that it is an opportunity for me to bring other people into where I am. For instance, if I donate to Planned Parenthood, other people seeing me donate to Planned Parenthood and seeing that I am able to do that, they might be able to donate themselves. They might be able to talk to somebody else about donating to Planned Parenthood or talk to other people about the good things about Planned Parenthood. And in doing such, we spread the word about women's equality and trying to make sure that women have the health care that they've been denied in our country and in our society for a really long time. Is that virtue signaling to say that I donated to Planned Parenthood? Yeah, it kind of is. Kind of is virtue signaling. I am raising my hand up and saying, hey, I donated. And it makes me feel good to say, hey, I donated. Those who talk about virtue signaling want you to feel ashamed for that. And so want to dissuade you from doing that. That's not right. You should take every opportunity to pull people in as you can. Every opportunity. So if you hear people talk about virtue signaling, what's wrong with virtue signaling? What's wrong with doing a little bit of a good thing, getting your pat on the back, and you've done the good thing, right? Any good thing is a good thing. It's what we all want to have happen. Now, what I will say is virtue signaling is often a way of people making them feel good for doing the least amount possible. That is where it does come into a thing that you need to think about. When you do something, when you do raise your hand up and say, I did this thing, is it enough? Did you do enough? Could you do more? Could you bring people in to do more? And I would guarantee every time the answer is going to be, yeah, you could do more. Every time. We all could do more. I could do loads more. I'm hoping that by doing these videos that I'm doing more. Am I virtue signaling by doing these videos? Yeah, I'll admit it. I'm virtue signaling. I'm coming out to tell people that, hey, I'm woke, or trying to be. Does that mean I shouldn't do them? I don't think so. I think they're important. I think it's important that you get up and speak out and speak your piece about what you feel is important. And don't let people shut you up just by making you ashamed of doing it. That's wrong. And you should call them out on it every single time. There's another place where it can be an issue. This desire to get our pat on the back. Or as often said in the community, to get your cookie for doing something good. Black people and people of color are not there to give you a cookie. They're not there to pat you on the back. They're not there to say good job. Okay, don't ask them to. Don't ask them to. It's vital that you not pull away from their work and their efforts and their difficulties to do more for you. It's not what they're there to do, and you should not ask them to. You are there to do your work, and they are there to do their work, and we're to do our work together. But you're not going to have them do your work for you. So no pats on the back, no cookies from people of color for doing good things. No pats on the back for cookies from women for doing what you should have been doing all along. It's just not right, so don't do it. That's a problem with virtue signaling. Virtue signaling is one of a long line of things that the right has attacked us for. Very simply, probably the biggest one is snowflake, calling us snowflakes. Calling you a snowflake is telling you that you have no right to feel the way you do or say what you feel like saying. It's trying to shut you up. It's trying to make you again feel ashamed for calling out bad behavior, calling out inappropriate messages. It's not because you're offended. You might be offended, but that's not what it's about. It's about standing up to oppression wherever it comes. Racism and sexism and homophobia and transphobia are oppression, straight out. It's trying to put people down and keep them down and not allow them to have the same lives that us, white, male, cis, heterosexual people have. What we're privileged to have. You'll notice most people calling people snowflakes are those who were exactly in that category that I just mentioned. People like me, white, male, cis, heterosexual males. Yeah. They are afraid of allowing you to speak out on these things because it endangers their position. What needs to happen is more people need to get to a position where they are not afraid of that. They want that. They desire that. And until you can get to there, you'll just be protecting your position over and over again against people who deserve to be part of that culture, part of that space, part of that uh, uh, everything, part of that privilege. So instead of being afraid of people coming into your space, pull them into your space. That's what allies are supposed to do. We're supposed to pull people into our space, not push people out. That's what the right does with things like snowflake and virtue signaling, those terms, and other terms as well. If you watch any episode of Ben Shapiro, I'm sure you'll hear a good list of them. Don't buy into it. Someone calls you a snowflake, own it. Say, yeah, sure, I'm a snowflake, whatever. You're a racist, which is worse. You know? Don't be ashamed for what they tell you to be ashamed for, because it's not shameful. It's the right thing to do every time. So those are just my thoughts on that. Hopefully that's helpful, and we'll get people going. Let me know if you like these videos. I'm going to keep putting them out there. They won't necessarily be on topics like this. I may talk about weird stuff like art. As you can probably tell, I like art. So I will probably be doing more things on that line as well. I just feel that right now it's hard to talk about anything else because these things are so important and we're just so in the middle of it all. So thanks, have a great day, and until next time, take care.